Good morning and welcome to This Week with Pastor Dino. I'm Dino and I'm so glad you are joining us here at First Presbyterian Church of Bradenton, where we are cultivating hearts for Jesus from the heart of downtown. It is Super Bowl week. It's an exciting time here around the Tampa Bay area, but you know what I'm excited about? I am excited about what we've been talking about in church as we have been reading the book, The Christian Atheist. Several of us, and going through a sermon series, What Do You Really Believe? And this week we talked about making our pursuit of Jesus our number one thing, and our Bible verse comes to us from Luke chapter 12, verses 32 and 34, where Jesus says, "Do not be afraid, little flock, for your Father has been pleased to give you the kingdom. Sell your possessions and give to the poor. Provide purses for yourselves that will not wear out, a treasure in heaven that will never fail, where no thief comes near and no moth destroys. For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also." This verse serves as a really good reminder that we can't take anything with us. We came into the world with nothing. We come out of the world taking nothing with us. And yet we spend our whole lives pursuing the things of this world, thinking they're going to make us happy. On Sunday, we talked about what our number one priority is. What are we pursuing with our lives? And the reality that we cannot take anything of the earth with us into eternity. And yet we still pursue these things. We spend all our time pursuing things that are in this world, earthly things, thinking they'll bring us joy, happiness, and fulfillment, and they might temporarily for a while, but you know what I've found more than anything? The more stuff we have, the more stuff we want, and we're never truly fulfilled. But as Jesus says, wherever your treasure is, there your heart will be also. And the challenge for each of us is to make him, Jesus, our number one pursuit. So be thinking about this idea this week, and be thinking about how you might be able to shift your life in such a way that Jesus becomes your number one pursuit rather than something from the earth. Thanks be to God. This week, the church office will be open Monday through Friday, and we will continue going through our sermon series, What Do You Really Believe?, as we push towards the Lenten season, which comes starting on Ash Wednesday, February 17th. Now, this is another big week for me, and that's what our interview is going to talk about. I've got Gwen in the studio. Gwen's turning 15 here on Wednesday, so I'm going to talk to her just a little bit about that. Let's check it out. Well, good morning. I am joined here in the studio with my very special guest. You may have seen her take over the hosting desk for a couple of minutes, a couple weeks back. This is my 14-year-old daughter, Gwen, and I'm only able to say you're 14 for a couple more days. How are you doing, Gwen?
Pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing okay, thank you. You are about to be 15 years old, and you are a freshman in high school. And how is freshman year going for you? Tell me a little bit about it.
It's going pretty good. There's some similarities and differences between high school and middle school, but I think I like high school better. There's a lot more homework, though, and a lot more responsibility. Got to actually keep track of my stuff this year.
Yeah, so you're in school, you're playing on the JV soccer team at your high school, you're doing really well with that, and you have a job, right?
Reffing.
Reffing soccer on the weekends, which is really cool. And you got to keep track of everything. You have a baby sister at home who's just about to turn 1 year old. Thanks for coming on to the show today to tell us a little bit. I don't know that a lot of us watching, it's hard to relate to high school today. Even for me, I was in high school 20 years ago. It's hard for me to relate. Tell me about your phone and how you use your phone as a high schooler these days.
Well, like the teachers, they put everything online now. And it's good in a lot of ways, but like also it's really confusing because like if we're not there a day, they just expect us to turn in all our work anyway and like be in the class anyway, even if we're not there. So, I mean, it's good because like if you just forget what to do for homework, you can just like look online like, oh, I gotta look at Schoology. But if you're not there, then you are expected to still have everything turned in and be on track of everything.
Sure. Now, and they tell you actually have to have your phone at school, right?
Oh yeah. In like all our classes, they're like, okay, get your phone out, go to Schoology, like we're gonna do Quizlet, type in the code. Yeah.
I can't even fathom, because I remember we had pagers back when I was in high school, and
I don't even know what a pager is.
We'll talk about that later. But we had a pager, and it was like you had to turn your pager off, your beeper off, so it didn't go off in class. And here you guys are with cell phones. 10 years ago, it would have been unfathomable to pull your cell phone out in class. You had to keep it in your backpack off all day. Now you're using it. Technology is a very important part. When's the last time you hand wrote an essay or anything like that?
Like 5th grade, probably.
So
even the writing tests, they're online. I'm about to take a writing test tomorrow.
Okay.
And it's gonna be I have to type it.
Yeah. Wow.
Which is good though, because I can I just think typing's easier. It's a lot more efficient, quicker.
Sure. Do kids are there computers in all your classrooms and all that?
Oh yeah, most of our class. Well, some of them they expect you to bring your own computer.
Okay.
Or just a device, but computers are a lot easier.
So you go into your classroom. It's not like going to computer lab. There are computers in your classrooms.
Mm-hmm. There's little computer carts and laptops in them.
Oh wow, that's like I said, just kind of mind-boggling. We don't think about this, and I know you've grown up with technology all around you your whole life.
Yeah.
But I didn't, and so that just. It's very different. Are there dangers that you see with the technology and the social media? What, with not going into specifics, but what have you seen as some of the downside to everyone having technology?
I mean, there's a lot more cyberbullying, because there's a lot of anonymous things. You can just go into anything with a fake account or anonymously. And I mean, it's easier to hide things, but not really, because you always end up getting caught.
And I would think that with everything being so instantaneous, it's you can send a cyberbully type message out and everyone gets it. And before you know it, it's out there. I mean, everyone has it.
Yeah. So it's not really something you can take away once you put it out there, because people screenshot, people screen record.
Yeah. So there's, again, bad sides to it, but for the most part, your experience has been that the technology's been a real positive for you in your life?
Yeah, it's also another way that you can, communicate with people, especially people that live far away. It's a lot easier to just, text them, but you don't really, text their phone number. You text, them on social media.
Okay. That's different, too. So let's wrap up talking about technology with your perspective on church, because obviously we've had to increase the amount of technology we use in church, and you're here a lot. You see what I do at the church a lot. What is your experience of what technology has done and how it's changed our church here at First Presbyterian?
Well, even the show wasn't here a year ago. It's a lot different. Now we have a website, so if you're not there, if you're sick or just not feeling well, you can just look online and see all the sermons and both services. It's really cool. It's a lot different, but it's not really different for me, because I'm used to that.
Well, but you used to come to church and there'd be hundreds of people here.
Yeah, and now there's half, not even half.
Yeah, but at home people are watching, almost double. So there's a bigger audience maybe, but it's just divided up differently, and it forces us to think differently and connect with people differently. So yeah. The last thing I want to say is you're going to be 15 years old in a couple days here. You already passed your permit test. You are going to drive to the DMV, or I'm going to drive you. You're not going to drive yourself.
I'm driving home from the DMV.
What? We'll talk about that. But you are getting your permit. That's mind-boggling to me. You're 15 years old. What kind of responsibility is that on you?
It's a lot of responsibility. I'm going to be expected to I can't drive people around yet, and I can't even drive by myself yet, but in a year, I'm going to be expected to drive people around, drive my sisters around, and be trusted with that. So
Yeah.
it's kind of scary. And knowing that, like, even if I'm doing the right thing on the road, there's other people that could be doing, like, not paying attention or, like, being on their phones.
Right.
That could just, like, 1 second and everything's over.
So you probably need to tell everybody and remind everybody, don't text and drive, right?
Yeah, don't text and drive.
Exactly. Well, hey, thank you so much for being here, Gwen. Happy birthday in a couple days. I love you to pieces and look forward to seeing you soon when we go home.
Yeah.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
In terms of online programming this week, we've got the ABCs of Faith on Wednesday night at 7 p.m. We're going to be in the letter L, so I can't believe we're there, but we are there and having a great time doing it. Thank you for tuning in to that on Wednesday night. On Saturday, we've got breakfast and Bible study, and that's over Zoom. So if you want to figure out how to get connected to breakfast and Bible study at 10 a.m. on Saturday morning, go to our church website, bradenton.church/Zoom, and that will take you directly to the page with all the Zoom information. We've got worship at 9 and 11 on Sunday morning. That'll be live in-person worship as well as streaming online. So we look forward to having us all together in worship as we continue to push into what we really believe and the reminder from Jesus in the Gospel of Luke that we can't take anything with us. And we need to make sure we are focused in our pursuit of Jesus, because it's so easy in this world to get dragged by all the other pursuits. The money and the fame and the good job and you name it. We come up with an ideal self and we pursue that our whole lives until we're reminded that we ought to pursue Jesus, number one. Wherever our treasure is, that's where our heart is also. Our number one treasure is Jesus. So let's remember that this week as we continue to strive to live for Him. Until next time, I'm so glad you are here, and I'll see you then on This Week with Pastor Dino. Bye-bye.